Hey you guys, welcome back to Lauren's Honest Reviews, where I review popular books and let you know if they're actually worth your time. Today's video is going to be a fun one. I guess the theme today is just reading books. We're just going to talk about some of the books that are on my GOODREADS, some recent books, some books that have been on there for probably from the last year. But we're going to talk about books that are 5-star reads, a lot of good ones in this video, 5-star, 4-star, and I do have a couple 1 and 2-star. I think only 2, but mainly this video is going to be positive vibes. We're going to talk about a lot of my favorite books. So hopefully you guys are excited. Before we get into it, if you could leave me a comment down below, let me know what you guys are currently reading. I need some new recommendations. I have so many random books on my TBR that need to get read, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys are reading and enjoying. I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you don't already follow me on TikTok and Instagram, I'd love to have you over there. So I'll leave those links down below, also with the links of the books that we'll be talking about today. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first book we're going to talk about is one of my favorite 5-star reads. I love this book so much. The writing is so engrossing and clever, and I just love her so much. Liane Moriarty, I can never say her name right, but I just love her books. And Big Little Lies is a classic, a true classic if you like a good domestic drama. Madeline's humor is so dry and almost self-deprecating. She's so funny. This book was so good. It's everything I love about a domestic drama. You have your murder at the beginning of the story, there's a big twist at the end, and all of the characters are just so different in their own way, and I could not get enough of this book. I loved the show. The show's really good too, but there's something about this book, just the way all the pieces come together in the end, and the twist comes out of nowhere. This definitely threw me for a loop. I love this. I love this book. So yeah, 5-star read for me. I love Big Little Lies. If you haven't read it already, it's probably at your local thrift store, to be honest. I feel like I see it everywhere and it's worth the read. Love this. All right, next up, let's talk about a recent read for me. That is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is my first Riley Sager book, and I went into this so excited. I was really pulled into this book when I first started reading this. So this is the story of Casey Fletcher. Casey kind of got herself into a bad way. She was banished by her family to this lake house to essentially work on her sobriety, which she's not doing. She basically drunk this whole book, which is kind of an intriguing part of the book. You're questioning whether or not her observations are reliable because of her soberness. And this book was fun at the beginning. It definitely pulled me in. I was turning the pages, definitely an addictive book at the beginning. But towards the end of this book, this just got weird. I'll just say that. I can't really say much without obviously spoiling the twist. The twist is surprising. The twist did get me, but it was a very odd twist. And I feel like Riley Sager could have gone so many different ways with the twist, and I was disappointed by this. It just got weird. But I was just like, what? He went there. Wow, he really went there. I was really thrown off by this. So I give this a 2-star. Again, I was pulled into the story at the beginning. It was a page turner. I really liked his writing. Riley Sager's writing really did pull me in. Let me know if you've read any other books by him. I have I think it's called The Only One Left. That one's on my shelf. I really want to read. I know that's one of his most popular books, but this one was just odd. It just got very weird towards the end. If you like that kind of voyeuristic story, that voyeuristic plot line, The Woman in the Window, I think you would like this. The ending was odd. So yeah, I give this a 2-star. Not really a big fan of this. All right, let's get into a book I love so much, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Oh my gosh, my heart. This book has my heart. Kaya, the main character, the marsh girl, if you will, she has my heart so much. I will never forget her. She was just one of those characters that will stick with you. So Kaya is known as the marsh girl in her neighborhood. She's kind of known as this almost like a derelict, poor girl. Her clothes are always disheveled. She always has these disheveled clothes. She's always found by the middle of the woods or by the shoreline looking for sea creatures, and just looking at the sea life. Was it a sea? Brackish. I should know this. My dad's a bass fisherman. I think it's brackish water. But she's just really invested in nature and learning about nature. And because she's this kind of odd girl in town, of course a murder happens, and she's suspected of this murder because she's so strange or known as strange by the people in her neighborhood. And you just feel for her in this book. The way her character just pulls at your heartstrings this was such a great story. You feel all the emotions with her. She goes through all the trials and tribulations of being a teenager, your first love, going through puberty, but it's not immature in any way. Like a lot of these, this is not YA by any means, but a lot of these stories of these younger characters sometimes can feel immature, but I don't know, there's something about the way her story is told that, oh man, it's just, you really feel connected to her, and I just love this book so much. This is definitely worth the read. I did actually read this on audio, which is unusual for me. I will say it's not my favorite form of reading, but there was something about the narration of this book on audio. It was such a good audiobook. I heard a lot of people say that reading the actual like dialect of the people in this town was difficult to read. So maybe that is why I had a different experience with this book from other people that didn't really love this so much. But I am so glad I gave this book a try, because for the longest time I had this odd picture about this book. I don't know if it's because of the cover. I thought this book was about a girl that was lost in a marsh. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound very exciting. But then I'm thinking about, oh gosh, what's the Tom Hanks movie? Wilson, the volleyball Wilson. It'll come to me. Let me know in the comments. I did enjoy that movie, so I'm like, maybe I would like this. I don't know. But the whole plot line with the murder and the townspeople in this story, and of course, again, Kaya, the character Kaya, you will love her. You will just fall in love with just her story and everything about her. She's just the sweetest girl. But yeah, great book. Love this so much. This was a 5-star read for me. Let me know your thoughts on this book. Big hit or miss from people. People either love this or they hate this. So I want to know your thoughts on this book. All right, let's talk about another book that is a very popular book that I took a while to read. And again, I think it was because of the name of the story, Lessons in Chemistry, my least favorite subject in college and in high school. Hated chemistry, but it was a must if you're a nursing major. I'm like, oh, I gotta do it, all right. But I will tell you, this is so much more than a chemistry lesson. This is a story by Bonnie Garmis. I believe this was her debut novel. So this is a story of Elizabeth Zott. She's a female chemist in the 60s, and she gets a lot of flack from her coworkers in her workplace. She's essentially discriminated against because she's a female working in the 60s. And you go through all, the traumas that she is faced against. She goes through 2 big major traumas in her life. I won't spoil anything, but some of them are hard to read, but I will say there's like little quirky parts to this book that make this such a fun read. It was a little dry at the beginning, I will say, but stick with it. If you're finding yourself like getting bored, like I felt like that at the very beginning, I'm so glad I stuck with this because wow, the story was so impactful. Like, I don't know, like there were so many times where I just had to put down the book and just look around like, wow, oh my gosh. First of all, it's insane what women had to go through, what we still have to go through. But you just really feel for Elizabeth in the story. But of course, she's a strong, independent woman. She comes through it, but it's such a good story. The way this is told, the way the author connects all the different point of views in the story is so unique and clever. I don't think I've ever read anything like this. Like she goes from one point of view to the next, but not in a jumpy way. It's just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like fluid way. It's such a good story. Her writing is so amazing. This is such a good story, such a good read. Let me know if you've read this and if you enjoyed it. I also loved hearing the point of view of the dog. 6:30 was such a good, like, quintessential part of the story. Like, I'm so glad he was in it. If you liked Remarkably Bright Creatures and hearing the perspective from an animal, the thought of it kind of sounds weird, I'll be honest, but reading the book, it just fits with the story. So good, such an interesting read. If you're a fan of Ali Hazelwood, I think you would really like this too because there's a lot of science talk without it being overly sciencey. So it was definitely interesting if you're a science fan. So this is fun, really fun read. Not super laugh out loud. I would not call this a rom-com by any means. I think, yeah, darkly funny. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I don't think this is like laugh out loud hilarious, but still a good, like happy story in the end. So love this so much. This was did I give this 5 stars? I think I gave it 4.5 stars just because, again, the beginning was a little dry for me. Took me a little bit to get into, but I'm so glad I did because this was one of my favorite stories. I really love this so much. Lessons in Chemistry, definitely a must read. All right, next up, let's talk about The Summerpacked by Emily Giffin. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this. I really love this. This was a solid 4-star read for me. So this is the story of 3 friends in college. Let's see, what were their names? Lainey, Tyson, and Hannah. So the story of their friendship, essentially, like they're going through this college experience together. They suffer this major traumatic loss, kind of help support each other and to keep themselves mentally sane. They make this pact that they're going to come together every summer and essentially get together and travel together. And hearing about all the journeys they go to, it was fun traveling with them. It was fun hearing about all their life stories. You really feel like you go through all their traumas with them. I didn't give it a 5-star. I gave it a 4-star. There was part of the book that I felt like there was a lot of lead up to this one meeting. It happens, but you don't hear about this meeting. So there was a little bit of a miss for me there, but for the most part, I loved the journey of the story, and I thought it was a great, heartwarming story about friendship and staying connected as friends over the years. I just thought it was a good, important story, and I really liked it. All right, The Push by Audrey O'Dane. Ooh, man, was this a controversial story? I was reading this and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like turning the pages, but I feel like I shouldn't be liking this because it's essentially a story about this woman named Blythe who is not enjoying her time being a mom. And as a mom, it was very difficult to read, I will say. Like, even though it's a page turner, I think because it's so outlandish, the thought of this mother just expressing, we've all been there, really like putting it out there about, just like not enjoying her time as a mother. So it was a tough read, but somehow this was such an addicting book, such a page turner. So if you like a good cliffhanger book, if you don't mind being a little tense and anxious during a book, I think you would like this. I gave this a 4-star. There was definitely some difficult scenes to read, but I do think this was a good story. In the end, it came together. Honestly, like 90% of the book, I found myself thinking like, if this doesn't tie up all the pieces and have a happy ending, I am gonna be so mad because this was a difficult read, but I would recommend it if you're looking for just like, if you have like a dark and dreary rainy day and you're just like feeling kind of moody, this would be a good book for that. All right, now let's talk about a good heartwarming story. If you want something that just like, just gives you the warm and fuzzies, read Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is her newest release. I'm not gonna go into this a ton because I did talk about this in my Emily Henry and Carly Fortune video. I'll link that above, but I love this so much, so much. My favorite Emily Henry. I love this. I did not expect to love this as much as I did, but the story of Hayden and Alice's kind of slow burn relationship was so fun to read about. Hearing about Margaret Ives' juicy celebrity life was fun to read about. This was such a great story. So basically, Hayden and Alice are these two authors that are writing the story of this celebrity, Margaret Ives. So you have your love story, and then you have this dramatic element with Margaret and her, obviously, crazy life story being a celebrity. I know a lot of people thought it was dry. I did not get that at all. I just loved every part of this. Couldn't stop reading it. I finished this in 2 days, I think. Love this. I read this on Libby and I didn't have to wait that long, so I was excited. But yeah, easy 5-star read for me. All right, now let's talk about Blue Sisters by Coco Mellars. This book was so good. I am so glad I did not put this off. I did put it off. But when I heard about the synopsis, I'm like, I don't know, this sounds like kind of heavy. I am obsessed with this book. I need to get the print copy. I read this on Libby as an e-reader and I ate this up. This was such a fantastic book. And for lit fiction to be a page turner, I feel like it's kind of unusual, but I was so I keep saying engrossed, I feel like in this video, but I really was just so pulled into this story. I couldn't get enough. The way this author pulls you into the different points of views with each of these sisters, you literally feel like you're in their heads and you're living their traumas through them, feeling all the emotions with them. Wow, like you just feel all the emotions reading this book. I love this. Each sister was so different in their own way. They were both kind of like messy at times, but still likable and relatable. Lucky, Nikki, let's see if I can remember their names, Avery, Bonnie was the boxer, Avery was the lawyer, and Lucky was the model. Hearing about her modeling life was fun too. And then Nikki was the one that unfortunately passed away. And they're all dealing with the trauma of losing their sister in different ways, and just hearing about the human emotion and how everybody deals with grief in different ways and how you have to stay connected as a family, I feel like was the major message in the story that I love so much. This was so good. It was such a good book. And the ending, oh my God. such a great ending to this fantastic story. It closes everything up, but in the most beautiful way ever. I'll always remember this last paragraph. Oh my God, my heart. You have to read this book. This is such a good book, but not a tearjerker. You would think a story about grief would really pull the tears out of your eyeballs, but this really didn't do that to me. It just was a heartwarming book, and I loved it so much. I loved it. 5-star. Love this so much. All right, last up, we're going to talk about my 1-star read. Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn was such a disappointment for me, and I will preface my review by saying people love this book. This got over 4 stars on Goodreads. I think it's currently at a 4.1. So people like this. So take my review with a grain of salt. I think I'm just getting old, guys. I'm getting a little old for these rom-coms. Sometimes well, no, because there's so many ones that I love so much. No, I don't want to say that. But I did feel old at times reading this book. But honestly, I think it was more of the weird, dirty humor in this book that just threw me off. So this is the story of Wilder is the main character's name, the male main character. The female in this is Scotty. She is working in this office full of finance bros. And these guys, she's just like so put off by the way they talk about their wives. She's like, okay, it's great that you're married, but I don't need to hear about it every day. But I think this is what threw me off about the book, because the main premise or plot of the book is Scotty goes on this retreat with Wilder to be essentially in this fake marriage to impress these people that she works with. Here we are talking about how Scotty comes off as like the strong character in the beginning of the book, but then she's got to fake a marriage just to impress people. Like, is this the 1950s? Like, what? And then Wilder, I got such the ick from him. And maybe it's a me thing. I mean, granted, I've been out of the dating game for a while. I'll say that. I've been with my husband since high school, but I still kind of remember what it was like if I was ever approached by a man that, you know, I know he's interested in me, we're like talking, and he's describing about the female body part that he likes so much of his ex. He's telling me, oh yeah, I love this and this about her. I don't know what I can and cannot say on YouTube still to this day, but yeah, he's like, oh yeah, she had great, you know what? Like, hello, that is a walking red flag to me. I'm sorry. You're gonna talk about your ex's body parts? Ew, ew. No. And then the nerd cluster thing, they kept talking about how they had this thing for nerd clusters. It got very repetitive. I'm like, okay, can we talk about something else? So honestly, I think it was just these two main characters I just could not connect with. Again, it could be a me thing. People love this book, but it gave me the ick. It was cringy. It was cheesy. The sex scenes were, oof. Ugh. Am I getting old, guys? Maybe I'm getting old. No, it was weird. Again, it was weird, dirty humor. Weird. I was cringing the whole time. I was doing that like emoji face the whole time. Like, are we saying this? Are we really saying this? Yeah, it just wasn't for me. This male main character was such a man-child. I did not have fun with this. Even the humor was kind of off. Again, it was weird, dirty talk. It was weird, dirty jokes that I couldn't connect with. Didn't do it for me. So I'm sorry. Again, this is a popular book. A lot of people love this. Let me know if you read it and let me know your thoughts. Again, reading is subjective. Everybody is different. So I'd love to know what you guys thought of this book. I'd love to know what other books you are reading these days. I always love hearing from you guys in the comments. Thanks for following me on my socials. Thanks for liking this video. Thanks for commenting. You guys are the best. Just thanks for being here. Thank you for all your support. Seriously, it means the world. You guys make this so fun. I'm having a ball. So thank you again, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.